In the monthly magazine that we've been sending out for about 12 or 13 years now, Focus on the Kingdom, it's free at our website all over the world now, thousands of people are reading this. We have a little section called Cause for Alarm. I want to allude to this extraordinary fact about the creed of Jesus, which he recited and affirmed in agreement with a Jewish scribe in Mark 12, verses 28 and following. Scholars use a lot, I think, of wasted energy often, trying to find out what Jesus actually said, believing that you have to guess at this, since no one really knows what Jesus said, because we don't know the extent to which later church writers put words back into the mouth of Jesus. So it's an endless task trying to sort out what Jesus actually said, his ipsissima verba, his actual words. I think it's a rather wasted effort, because the writers of the New Testament were keen to tell us all about what Jesus said and what the church said. It was never something to guess at. These were certain and stable reports of what Jesus had said. You can imagine, too, how devastating this doubting approach to Scripture is, this technique. It's very devastating if we're looking for the comfort and instruction of Scripture, which many of us need. We need that simple comfort and instruction that we're hearing the precious words of Jesus, who's the master teacher, obviously. Now, the scholarly technique has worked its mischief in key passages. For example, Mark 12:29, where Jesus defined the true God with crystal clarity. Asked what the most important commandment of all is, he responds in typical rabbinical style. Jesus said that the Lord our God is one Lord, Kyrios Isestin. I'm using the modern Greek pronunciation because that's the way we teach it at Atlanta Bible College, but that's the right translation of the Greek. The Lord our God is one single Lord. That's not very hard. One single Lord. Not three lords, not two lords. And the otherwise very valuable Word Biblical Commentary, which I recommend thoroughly to anybody taking his Bible study at some depth. The Word Biblical Commentary on Mark says this amazing thing. A scribe is impressed with Jesus' ability, and so asks him which commandment is the first of all. So far, so good. That's excellent. That's what a scribe is doing, asking Jesus about the first and most important commandment. Then the commentator makes this extraordinary observation, which one day I think will wake the church from a slumber that it has not been paying attention, that it has not been paying attention to the words of Jesus. So the commentator makes this amazing observation. He speaks of Jesus' affirmation of the Shema, which is neither remarkable nor specifically Christian. Did you catch that? The words of Jesus are not remarkable nor specifically Christian. Listen carefully to that. That's amazing. Here's an admission that Christianity is not really based on the teachings of Jesus. Ponder this long and hard. Jesus' own definition of God and his endorsement of the Hebrew Shema, the Listen Israel of Deuteronomy 6, the Lord our God is one Lord, is not Christian. That came from the words of Christ affirming the most important consideration of all. So then the teachings of Jesus are not Christian? Is that what we're saying? This is a shocking indication of what entrenched tradition and some scholars seem to be up to. They deny to Jesus the right to define the true God. They deny to Jesus what Jesus said is the most important issue for us all. We seem to be dealing here with the awful prospect of what Jeremiah referred to as the lying pen of the scribes. Now, this dismissal of Jesus puts churches into a serious theological jeopardy, I would think, since on their books today is a denial of the very definition of God provided by the Master Rabbi Jesus himself. A triune God, about whom Jesus never said anything, has replaced the Jewish Christian definition of God, endorsed by Jesus himself in agreement with a Jewish scribe. A revolution will occur when churchgoers vociferously complain to their pastors, perhaps, that their cherished traditional view of God is at variance with Jesus' own definition of the true God. So, the greatest of all commandments, Jesus said, is, listen, Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Now, that's a Unitarian, non-Trinitarian definition of God. Why then do people claiming to be following Jesus abandon his unitary monotheistic creed here? This is a very simple and liberating question. Most seem not to want to venture an answer to this not complex question. This is the question. Is the creed of Jesus in Mark 12 a Unitarian or Trinitarian creed? What do you think? Was Jesus a Trinitarian? If not, why are you? Ask your friends and acquaintances this fascinating question and prepare for a stimulating conversation or perhaps a stunned silence.